But I know we have a bit of a time here. Let's like us to move to something that happened over the past weekend, and it is something that has dominated the media reports the past few days. It is on the church donations and the Subuke Declaration, where the Catholic Church bishops came out very clearly to say, we will not be accepting church donations and contributions in ways of notes. If you want to contribute to your donations, do it through mobile transfer, and this is for accountability reasons. But the question is, will that work? And is this going to be just one of those cases where we hear of these things which will never work? I mean, I don't know how to put it. I mean, Jacoyo, make me understand.
I found that
what was that behind that reasoning?
I found it ridiculous. Why didn't they make that declaration before the deadline of the 1,000 shillings note? But they looked silly, that is so to speak, because it had been alleged that the people were hiding monies in their houses and they would go to church to clean it or to campaign with it. So this church waits until the 30th, the 31st or 30th deadline. Then it calls for some conference to make some very bizarre declaration. And let me tell you this. The same people who are against church donations still go to church for donations. I think this whole issue with church and donations was being politicized against William Ruto. If I were him, I would still just keep doing it.
So do you feel this is definitely just a target
wrong. The Pope's church is nearly 700 years old, and he still conducts Harambee in Rome. Churches are built. Who do you want to build churches? Let me just tell you, so I'm a Christian. Wamatangi and Mwaura here come from Kiambu. Their churches look like palaces. If you go to my village, because there are many rich people from their villages, and they love church, they love God, so they are philanthropic about it.
Okay.
For us, where people are poor, if you call the church Harambee, you are called in some madhouse. People don't have money. My mother, who is disadvantaged by the system, cannot build her own church. So you can't tell us to stop donating. I even saw an MP from Nyanza trying to say you limit Harambees to 100,000 shillings. How much money do you know I have? Harambees must be kept. Remember, we started this debate by the word Harambee. Let us pull together. Let us just not use it politically.
So you think this is a defeatist motion? Okay.
Yes, but you can't tell me that you have invited me in Harambee, and you're telling me to send you M-Pesa. They want to use the back channel that the congregants do not know.
Let's, Senator Aaron.
You know, this is just from the Catholic Church. Too much sound and fury that signifies nothing. And it's very hypocritical of those bishops, what they're trying to say. Because what they just need to say is that we shall not invite you for these fundraisers anymore. And that makes a lot of sense. Because none of the politicians that I know of goes to a particular church and just find themselves here and begin presenting donations.
But look at it
is
this
on the
way.
Invitation.
It is because for many times and many occasions that the church has been put on the spotlight for being a conduit for corruption.
If they feel that the money that is taken by politicians to the churches is from proceeds of corruption, then it is very simple. Just don't invite them. Why do you make a lot of noise about, we want it in this form or the other? You better just make up your mind. Do you want Harambees or you don't want? If you want, proceed. If you don't want, don't invite people. It's very simple. Why are we making a lot of noise about it?
All right. Senator Obitam, you don't think this is just more of an accountability issue by the church in itself?
Zainab, I wanted to start with Jacoyo. Why he started because, Jacoyo does not go to church.
Don't you?
If he does it, it's on Christmas Day. So he's not competent to come.
You must.
He cannot come here and start commenting about the looks and finishes of churches in Kiambu because I'll be inviting him very soon to a church in Kiambu, and we have all manner of churches anyway, Jacob, in Kiambu. We have good churches where committed Christians have built,
Yes.
and we also have churches which are probably as good or as in the state that yours are in, because churches have proliferated, and we don't have a unique advantage in having good churches, but we have faithful people who go to churches, and in Kiambu we are God-fearing people, if that's what you wanted to hear. But Zainab, what I want to say is that, you see, Harambes are completely voluntary.
All right.
Yeah.
Voluntary. And so every church, in my view, has a right to say what they want. If they don't want the church, the Harambe, if they want it done this, they can. But you say it's voluntary. You don't force me to come. And again, as the senator says, and if you don't want me, also don't invite me.
All right.
You know, I mean, it is that simple. And so if and I don't fault the Catholic Church, by the way, for saying that. It is, they have sat, they have decided, that's the way they want it. So it is for us politicians to decide. When you go to the Catholic Church, are you willing to comply with what the church has said? And if you find that it is extraneous to your plans, and if you find that it also puts you in an awkward position because you feel like you have to justify things, then you say, just like an offering.
Right.
I mean, you can go and offer it in another church.
Okay.
So I think we can leave the churches to do their work. By the way, the money that is given even to churches or in Harambes in churches, finally, and at the end of the day, is for the good of the people. There are so many other avenues of still getting that money to serve the people in similar ways to the same community. As a politician, I can go and give it elsewhere, within to the same community anyway. I mean, in another function. And what I'm saying is, you know, we also, let the churches do their thing. Let them preach. Let them tell us what they want to tell us.
All right.
And we leave them to make their rules. I mean, I personally, I don't fault what they said.
Right.
We will say it is voluntary.
All right.
Yeah. They will not force us.
I'm not Catholic.
Yes.
But I think on this case, I support what the bishops said.
All right.
Even if it's coming late, but if it can contribute towards our fight against corruption, that is all very well. Because what is the difficulty? If you want to donate 5 million shillings to the church, write 6 checks.
That's okay.
You take the checks. You see, I think the whole idea is to trace where the money has come from.
Yes.
So like if I'm going to have a fundraising and I ask them to give me some money and it comes to a substantial amount, I put it in the bank and take a banker's check. That means it can be traced.
Yes.
I think I think what the Catholic Church has done is good, because I think they have done, I don't know whether they have been following me, because for me, any Harambe that is more than 20,000 shillings, I give a check.
Give a check, okay.
So that's as a matter of principle.
All right.
So that if anybody wants to trace where I got the money from, I've always given a
so
check.
much money.
Anything over 20
Senator Moura.
is a check.
I think,
what the Catholic Church is doing is right.
All right.
I think it's very interesting and very hypocritical. Why now? These Harambes have always been there. They are not a new phenomenon. I mean, let's just say the truth. Is this a politically motivated conversation? I mean, is there all of a sudden a proliferation of Harambes? Harambes happen everywhere. In fact, Zainab, there is this little matter that one day President Kibaki addressed when he was addressing the people of the PCA church. You know, the churches don't pay tax. They are exempted from their earnings. It's like a silent agreement between the church and the state. But the political economy around how those monies are used needs to be investigated. You realize how corrupt people are. So for me, this is more than it's just political hubris. Sorry to say this, why? Because they even went ahead and said they will be not allowing anybody to talk in church. Well and good, I agree.
Politicking.
Well, but sometimes there is favoritism. There was a time I was told to give some money in advance in a church so that I can be given a platform. I was shocked. And I did not give. I was actually denied to speak. The second time I also did not give. And the audience, the congregation just rose up in arms against the pastor. That is how low we have sunk as a country. And let me tell you, the most popular person to be invited in churches, where we are receiving letters, many of them, tens of them, is William Ruto.
Yes.
So let us not just try to. This is politicking. This is because Who has never attended Harambee here in this panel?
Politics
Which
in
senior
church.
politician that has not gone
And-
to?
and
So
I
let's,
think-
let's not try to pretend here all of a sudden Harambees have become so evil that now they should not be. You know, the church must pronounce itself objectively, without dispassionately, and without looking like they are supporting a political agenda.
Yes, Jacob, and even as you say, you know, Christo Nuye is saying, ask them, the politicians, then why don't they like to donate using checks and bankers' checks?
Exactly, but you can make the rules around it. I had said churches are never built by state funds.
All right.
They are built by donations. So whoever is talking about Harambes against churches in Harambes in churches is actually being deceitful.
All right.
But let me tell my friends here, you can do the checks, but cash is legal tender. Just investigate. The churches, the Catholic Church,
All right.
I have been an MP. Ask them why they collect money from schools paid by the parents, if that is not corruption. Why are they collecting money from our
What
schools?
is difficult, if I steal, bank the money and give them a check.
Yes.
I mean, doesn't make sense.
In fact, there is a Harambee on Sunday for PCA.
No
Kibo.
difference.
You know,
There's no difference.
And we will go.
If you don't want a Harambe sign up, just don't invite people.
Exactly.
You know, you guys are trying to make it as if we show up and beg you. You should see the amount of requests politicians get for this function.
And tell us how you're using the money from
All
Harambee.
right, thank you so much, Isaac Mwaura. Nominated Senator Kimani Wamatangi, Kiambu Senator Jakoyo Midiwo, former GEM Member of Parliament, Aaron Cheruyot, Kericho Senator Ndeseli Simiyu, Tongaren Member of Parliament. Thank you, gentlemen, for aiding us in the conversation this morning. And of course, a lot will be lining up for you in our subsequent bulletins. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Zainab Ismail. Have a fantastic day.